Hey guys, how you doing? Damien Keys here. Okay, so this morning I've got a meeting with Bruce from the band Colour of Noise and a tour manager called George Donoghue. And these guys are involved with a major rock festival called Ramblin' Man, which is based in Kent. And last year they put on a stage called the Rising Stage, which was for 18 slots for new and up-and-coming bands in that kind of rock genre to get to play to a big festival. And it was really successful, and they're doing it again this year. So they've asked me to be involved in helping them to find more up-and-coming bands and be involved in that way, which I'm really excited about. It is an amazing opportunity for bands to be able to play a really great festival, a major festival with some big bands headlining, and get really good experience, and also use it then while you're there to A, make contacts, and B, loads of social media content. So it's a really, really big deal. Over 100 bands have applied already through them putting the word out. And today is a listening session where we're going to have a listen through to bands, check out their YouTube and their videos and stuff. The criteria for this is, number one, it needs to be in the right genre. It is a rock festival, so it needs to fit into the genre of the people who are going to buy the tickets. Number two, we are looking for a video. We all feel like that's a big part of it. We want to see the band, see what they look like when they're playing. It doesn't have to be live, but we want a really good video. And then third, they have to have a certain number of audience. It doesn't need to be massive, but there needs to be a bit of an audience because we need to see that it is working, and if they go on to play a stage, that people are going to appreciate it. So that's the criteria. So I'm going to be in this meeting. Hopefully I'll be able to feed some stuff back to you and see how it goes. So, great meeting, time for a cup of tea with our trusted almond milk, which I love. So that was a really good meeting, and it's really interesting to see how other people in the music industry think, you know, from promoters, tour managers, through to people in bands, just picking their brains and being able to pick out what's working, what's not working, and build strategies and stuff. Now, what was interesting with that meeting was we had about 120 bands to go through that had sent in stuff, and they were on a page that we needed to put into some kind of order so we can give them feedback, etc. And one thing that really stuck out to me is band names, because this happens all the time, and it has happened for years and years and years. Band names are very important. People don't think they are, but they are important. But they're important now in 2017 for a very different reason that they were in 1950, 1960, 1970. And the reason why it's different now is because in 2017 we have got social media, and we have to be able to find these bands. So it's not just about hearing what the band's called, it's about being able to go and find them. So we had a list of 120 band names, and they'd all sent, well, lots of them had sent links in, but I didn't want to use that. I wanted to be able to go and see if I could find them, because I think that's really important. And some of them were incredibly difficult to find. Now, if we take this back 20 years, 1997, very different criteria for a band name. Yes, it's got to sum up the band, but at the same point, there was no massive crazy social media noise that there is now. So if you call your band Milk, how are you going to get that found? Even if you put in Milk Band, Milk Music, finding it on YouTube or Facebook or Spotify or iTunes is still going to be difficult, and it's putting the person who's either trying to listen or trying to buy your music in a position where you're making it more difficult for them to do, and therefore less likely to do it. So when it comes to your band name, yes, it's got to sum up the band and sum up the music, but more importantly, nowadays, one thing that's crucial is you've got to be able to be found. And if you've got a band which I can't spell because I'm not very good at spelling, then that puts you at a disadvantage. If you've got a band name which is very, very short and is already something else, like Milk, for example, again, you're putting me in a position where I probably won't be able to find it. I'm not going to sit there trawling through stuff for hours and hours and hours trying to find it. So, as was the case in the meeting, if I couldn't find it, straight away, I'm at the disadvantage because you're at the disadvantage. We can't actually find each other, so it just goes into another pile. So band names are crucial. Now, one thing I would say is I have had a conversation with hundreds of bands where I've said, you need to change your band name. For whatever reason, you really need to think about changing your band name. And there's always that excuse of, oh, but we're starting to build up a following, we've started to get a fan base. Now, depending on what size your fan base is, but a fan base of 1,000 or 2,000 people, when you've got the wrong name, is still not a big enough deal not to change that name. If you are Coldplay and you've got millions and millions and millions of people, fair enough, you're kind of stuck with it. But just because you've got 300, 400, 500 people who like a Facebook page, you can still change your name and just tell everyone and go, look, do you know what? We're not being found. We're just going to change our name. A name is so important in what we do. So have a think about it. It was really interesting today though in that meeting, because straight away there were certain bands that just stuck out like a sore thumb. And there was other bands where I just couldn't find them. And I was thinking, of course, like some bands would pop up and I go, I'm never going to find that band in a million years. If you're called Skull and that's it, brilliant, but you're not going to get found. It's just one of those things. So have a think about your band name. Is it going to get you where you want to go? Is it that vehicle that's going to push you and drive you along, or is it not? Because it's really, really, really important. Cool. Let's go and see what else happens in the rest of the day. Right, we're back in the swing of things, 2017, so if you haven't been doing anything for the last few days for your band, now's the time to start. Call a band meeting, sort some shit out, let's do stuff. It's going to be a big year, but only if you get cracking and get started. So I've got a few meetings, so I'm going to sign off. Hopefully catch you guys tomorrow. If you get a chance, if you can subscribe to the YouTube or the Facebook, that'd be amazing. Have a great night, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.